on CBS 46 News at 6.
Strong storms in the forecast late tonight through tomorrow morning. Could see strong damaging winds and heavy downpours. I'll let you know when the storms will arrive and how much rain we're expecting.
We have a break from the rain today, but areas in North Georgia are still underwater. We'll show you what's going to happen with more rain on the way.
The entire thing was unnecessary.
A member of this gym says an employee called police on him for being on his cell phone speakerphone.
It is disruptive to other members.
I'm Mike Dunstan, getting both sides of the story tonight.
But first, breaking news at 6 o'clock, a Henry County OBGYN facing drug charges and sexual assault accusations, is now no longer allowed to practice medicine in the state of Georgia.
CBS 46's Melissa Stern in studio tonight with the breaking details to a story, Melissa, you broke last month.
Today, the Attorney General's office and the Georgia Medical Composite Board finalized Schilling's voluntary surrender of his medical license. 69-year-old Schilling was arrested in late September on charges of unauthorized distribution and dispensation of drugs. His medical license has remained active following those charges, and his office, Schilling Women's Center, also is open for business. I first reported on Dr. Schilling's sexual assault complaints earlier this year. After the initial report, I got an overwhelming amount of responses from former patients sharing stories about Dr. Schilling. Complaints ranging from botched surgeries to malpractice to sexual assault. After putting pressure on the Georgia Medical Board over the last few weeks, things moved quickly. We know of at least a half a dozen complaints filed to the medical board against Schilling. Because he was allowed to surrender his license, those complaints will never become public record, nor will they appear in his public file if he is ever relicensed. He can reapply for a license in 2 years. The Henry County DA says more charges in the case are pending. Melissa Stern, CBS 46 News.
I couldn't believe it. They're telling me I'm dead.
CBS 46 resurrects a Metro Atlanta veteran who was mistakenly declared dead. Ahead, we're going to tell you how we brought him back to life. Another Bulldog exclusive tonight, only on CBS 46. No security footage and an inmate opening the cell door for another to allegedly have sex in a jail bathroom.
The shocking details in what appears to be the internal investigative report obtained exclusively by the CBS 46 Bulldog. Chief Investigator Jonathan Carlson first broke the story of the alleged incident at the Fulton County Jail nearly 2 weeks ago, and he's back now with more information. Jonathan.
Guys, good evening. When we first broke this story, the jail would only confirm 2 internal investigations are underway, 1 into the alleged incident and 2 into if protocol was violated. What we've obtained now raises even more questions. In what appears to be an internal incident report obtained through a source who claims to have received it from a jail official, the details of what is alleged to have happened in late January at the Fulton County Jail reads like this. An inmate trustee, designated to work outside his cell, somehow opens the cell door for a female inmate. The two are seen by other inmates entering a bathroom in the medical housing unit, the male inmate exiting a short time later, loudly bragging the two had sex. The documents also state the pair allegedly tried the same thing the day before, but didn't engage in sex because the male inmate couldn't get aroused. When confronted by prison officials, the female inmate told conflicting stories. Here's where things take another turn. The documents say jail officials couldn't prove the allegations because there's no security footage of the incident. Now, we pressed the jail for specifics about their cameras. Was footage missing? Were they not working or not covering that area? The jail refused to comment and would not confirm or deny the accuracy of the details in these documents, citing the ongoing investigation. Rick.
Jonathan, thank you. The Bulldog is always prepared to pounce on an issue that's affecting you. You can email him at thebulldog@cbs46.com.
Right now, waterlogged Metro Atlanta communities preparing for more rain and the potential of more flooding. Heavy rain headed to North Georgia. We have team coverage tonight on the storms headed our way, but let's start with Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez.
Yeah, and this strong line of storms heading in our direction right now, entering northwestern portions of Alabama, where there is a severe thunderstorm watch in place until 1 a.m. These storms will eventually make their way into North Georgia after midnight tonight. Right now, the calm before the storm looks great, and before midnight, very little to no rain in the forecast, really muggy and mild the rest of tonight. Then after midnight, that's when the storms will move in. The strongest storms in far northwest Georgia, where we have have a level 2 risk of severe storms. Could see very heavy downpours, which could lead to flash flooding. On top of that, strong damaging winds and even an isolated tornado. The line is expected to weaken as it approaches the metro area, but at the very least, it will make for a very wet and sloppy morning commute. Here's the timing of when the storms are expected to arrive. Northwestern Georgia sometime between midnight and 4 a.m., then across the metro between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., and that rain will linger through the morning rush hour commute. I'll pinpoint the timing where you live and what's going to move in behind the rain. First, let's get over to meteorologist Molly McCullum, because Molly, some areas already flooding, so additional rain could get very bad very fast.
I know, how tired are we of the rain? This is actually Big Creek in Alpharetta, and if you were watching us earlier at 4 o'clock, there was ankle-deep water across the greenway, and this area is notorious for flooding. I actually grew up in this area, but it doesn't make it any less inconvenient for people who live around here and want to use the greenway. So the water now is receding off the pathway, but I want to show you where it's still flooded, because it's still underwater in many areas where we've got feet of water around these trees. I want to show you how high the water was at one point, and this was back when we were seeing the torrential downpours on Monday. The water was all the way up to this area. Now this is actually blocked off because they're trying to protect this area to save the trees. That's another thing with the rain and the super saturated soil, we're seeing trees fall down, and with the storms that we see tomorrow morning, it's very possible that some of those wind gusts do knock over those trees, because the roots just don't have a whole lot to hold on to anymore because the ground is just so wet. Thankfully, we do have a break coming up at the end of this week, Valentine's Day into Saturday. Take advantage of those days, maybe clear out any drains, any areas that have been flooding over the past couple of days, and potentially get a certified arborist out to your yard if you're concerned about any trees that look a little suspect that are close to your house. As far as the Big Creek Greenway goes, all of the water should be starting to recede by the time we get to this weekend. Of course, we do have the rain tomorrow that'll rise the water levels just a little bit once again, but by this weekend, it should be back to normal around here. In Alpharetta, Molly McCullum, CBS 46 News.
Molly, thank you. We do have a reminder that CBS 46 this morning is starting 30 minutes early tomorrow because of the impending wet weather.
And now is the time to download the free CBS 46 app if you haven't already. It's available for Apple and Android users. Developing tonight, a gym gripe over a cell phone call.
A Cobb County man says a gym employee went too far when he called the cops. CBS 46's Mike Dunstan live in Cobb County tonight. Mike, you've been trying to sort this whole thing out.
Yeah, Sean and Rick, I talked with the owner of this gym and also with the man who says that he felt humiliated here inside.
And this guy comes up to me and he's like, you need to be off the phone right now. And I said, hey man, I'm literally just finishing up this call. My mother just had a heart condition. She had to go in the hospital.
Paul Matadine was sending flowers to the hospital in Florida, and eventually things escalated with the gym employee.
He said, if you don't get out of the building right now with this phone call, you're banned for life.
The gym has these posted rules about cell phone use, and Matadine admits he was on speakerphone.
It's like I had to pull out my card to buy the flowers and give him my card number, so I was on speakerphone during that time. But my point was that I've been going to this gym for three years. There are people on their phones constantly.
Matadine dialed 911 first, but he didn't go through with the call. However, the employee followed through.
He's like, well, I'm going to call the police if you don't leave right now. And I said, man, I'm trying to get your name because you're the person that approached me, and I'm trying to get the name of the owner. That's all I want.
And I wasn't here, but the employee called me and said, what do I do? And I said, well, if he's now being not wanting to follow the directions of simply standing out, finishing his conversation outside, then call the police back.
That's Diana Kaga, the owner of the Marietta location.
And when people are on the cell phone, very loud or on a speakerphone, it is disruptive to other members.
Of course I'd like an apology, but more so, I just want them to be trained to realize that if someone says that their mother is in the hospital, give them a little bit of leeway.
I'm sorry that it happened. I'm sorry that his mom is not well, but I don't feel like we did anything wrong.
And when police came here, they did not arrest anyone. Meantime, tonight, Paul Matadine says that he will keep his membership. He just says he'll go to other locations. We're live in Marietta. Mike Dunstan, CBS 46 News.
Thanks very much, Mike. New details tonight on a story we first broke earlier today during the CBS 46 morning news. A Coweta County teenager shot in the back in her own home is now dead. The shooting happened on Bethlehem Church Road. Investigators say 3 to 4 men barged into the home. At some point, shots were fired. One of those bullets hit a 14-year-old in the back. She died at the hospital.
CBS 46 is everywhere tonight. Atlanta police looking for 2 armed robbery suspects. Investigators say Justice Page and Ross Harris pulled a gun on a Georgia Tech student walking to a friend's apartment on Biltmore Place. Dragon Con co-founder Ed Kramer testified tonight in the trial against Gwinnett County Superior Court Judge Catherine Schrader. Prosecutors say she hired private investigators who then hired Kramer to investigate claims the district attorney hacked into her computer.
3 California high school students are suing Atlanta-based Delta Airlines over last month's jet fuel dump. Delta Airlines Flight 89 dumped the fuel as it prepared to make an emergency landing at Los Angeles International Airport. At least 60 people were treated for various injuries. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms creating a safe space for women to talk about their mental and emotional health. The Mayor's Summit on Emotional Wellness for Women was held this afternoon on the campus of Spelman College.
Atlanta police say accused killers Jordan Jones and Barron Brantley confessed to murdering Clark Atlanta University student Alexis Crawford and even led detectives to the body. CBS 46 was in the courtroom Monday when they both pled not guilty.
And tonight we are asking, how does a best friend turn into an alleged killer? Haley Mason takes a look at what is obviously a complex relationship, and she joins us here for a preview. Haley.
Certainly complex, Rick, and we are trying to take a deeper dive because none of this devastating story makes sense to anyone, not even the people who knew Jordan Jones and Alexis Crawford. How could a trusted friend become the ultimate enemy, an accused killer? And were there signs of betrayal all along? I sit down with clinical psychologist Dr. Sherry Blake to explore the complicated friendship of Alexis Crawford and her roommate Jordan Jones. She points out the warning signs of betrayal and gives us a glimpse into the anger that was boiling underneath the surface.
Alexis probably felt she was a close friend of Jordan. She may have even viewed Jordan as a sister and trusted her. But that doesn't mean Jordan felt the same way about Alexis.
Tune in tonight to CBS 46 News at 11 as we dig deeper into this story of friendship, betrayal, and murder. I'm Haley Mason for CBS 46 News.
We've got big changes over the next 12 hours as a very strong line of showers and storms moves in. This is the calm before the storm. We actually had really terrific weather for today. We got up to 73 degrees this afternoon. Very little to no rain for most of you, but that's going to change very quickly. This is the line of showers and storms right now approaching Alabama, where we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in place until 1 o'clock this morning. Does not include northern metro or North Georgia yet, but as this line moves east, we could be included in a watch in the overnight hours. Strongest storms for tonight will be to our west, but after midnight, that threat moves into northwest Georgia. The strongest storms will be in this area in yellow as that front just starts to approach northwest Georgia. A level 2 threat of severe weather, so out of 1 to 5, it's a level 2. Could see strong damaging winds, very heavy rain, and even an isolated tornado. And luckily, it does look like this system weakens very quickly once it pushes through Georgia. So by the time it makes its way into the metro, should be much weaker of a system, but at the very least could bring very heavy downpours for Thursday morning's commute. Once that initial line moves in, it will continue to move to the south and east. Then for tomorrow, that severe weather threat in the late morning and afternoon will be south and east of Athens across middle and south Georgia. For tonight, we're in the clear before midnight, so very little to no rain, but it will be cloudy and warm. Temperatures in the upper 60s near 70. Then after midnight, that's when that line approaches. So here we go, hour by hour, 2 a.m. There are the possibly severe storms in northwestern Georgia. Watch how it kind of fizzles as it moves to the south and east. Doesn't look nearly as ominous or well defined by 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And again, even if we don't see any severe storms in metro Atlanta, we're still going to see some periods of heavy rain and a wet commute Thursday morning. So no matter what, this is going to impact the Thursday morning commute, with the biggest effects felt in northwestern Georgia. This line does move out fairly quickly, and then we'll see a big drop in temperatures behind it. As far as the rain, that is going to be the biggest threat, the biggest concern, just because it's been so wet in all of January and February. This particular system could bring at most 1 to 2 inches of rain, which in and of itself, not a huge issue, but creeks and streams, rivers already flooding in some parts of northwest Georgia. So additional flash flooding is possible, if not expected. So a flash flood watch in effect for northwestern Georgia through tomorrow afternoon. Here's a look at how much rain we're expecting. Again, highest totals in that northwestern section of the state, 1 to 2 inches. Here in the metro, less than ½ an inch expected, but we could see some locally higher amounts. Starting off in the 60s, by the afternoon, we're in the 50s. By tomorrow night, we're in the 30s. It's going to get very, very cold. High temperatures taking a nosedive once this front moves in. By Friday, a high of only 51. So if you're planning your Valentine's outfit and it's been warm, so you think you can wear something warm, think again. Look at these temperatures. At noon, 42, 51 at 4 o'clock. Then as we head into Friday night, when a lot of you will be out celebrating, we're dropping down to 32 degrees in Atlanta, low 30s in the burbs, even 20s in the North Georgia mountains. It will stay sunny and dry and chilly on Saturday. Then we have more rain as we head into next week.